If you are new at the game or just low elo, this video is perfect for you. I will be going over the best 5 like beginner low elo carry champions in the top lane. It will be based off how easy champions are to play, how good they are currently, and just in general how strong they are in the 1v1 and how good they will be for your team. All these picks included are also good at low elo and high elo, so you wouldn't have to worry about, oh, am I investing time into a champion that's only good in like bronze. No, all these champions will be fairly decent in most elos. I will be going over each pick, explaining to you why they are strong, how to build them, how to play them, what room page to take with them, and pretty much just help you get started with top lane. And as always, if you do enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So first on the list, or I guess well last on the list, I guess, like on the top 5 list, is Sett. Sett is really good. He's good in the current meta, he's a good win rate. That is like pretty much like a Street Fighter that just runs at people and kind of just hits them in the face with your like double auto attack. The reason why I put Sett in here is because I feel like Sett is very like forgiving, I guess. Don't have to play well to do decent on Sett. The base damage this champ can do is extremely high. This champion is really good in high elo as well, so you wouldn't have to worry about like dropping this the higher you climb. But I swear I've seen people go like 0 and 5 on Sett and still manage to 1v1 their laner in like diamond lobbies. Either way, before I get into the kit fully, here's a build you can use pretty much every single game. And here are the summoners you want to run most of the time. You can run either TP, Ignite, or Ghost, but I think playing with Ignite is the most fun. You just play aggro and you just Ignite them. Ignite also just pretty much got a buff, so... Like I said earlier, Sett has like a double auto attack type system of attacking people, which is kind of nice if you're farming on the turret, because sometimes you'll need a little bit of extra damage to last hit that minion after it gets shot by like the turret ball, whatever you want to call it. But because you can double auto attack, you won't really have to worry about that, you just kill them anyway. That has some built-in like health regeneration for every 5% of your missing health, so he's a bit more forgiving like that as well. If you aren't that good or you're taking like bad trades, you'll be regenning a bit more than most champions. Sett is really strong at 1v1ing people, and a big part of Sett is his W. His W is kind of crazy. It is like a defensive slash offensive ability, where if you take damage, you gain grit, or like a passive, let's say, energy bar, I guess, under his health bar that will charge up the more damage you take in the past 4 seconds. And then when you activate your W, you will consume all that grit, the grit, turning it into a shield and doing a massive amount of damage in front of you in like a square formation. And this ability will just straight up one-shot people. It is really good. Like I have been one-shot by this many times. It's also, if you just E into a W, it's really hard to like counterplay a Sett. This champ is very hard to counterplay against in general, because he just runs at you, pulls you in, then you're slowed or stunned, and then he just hits you with a guaranteed like, massive true damage W. Some small gameplay things about Sett. The E, the pull, is it's a slow if you pull one target, so they'll just be pulled and slowed, but if you pull more than one target, they'll be stunned for 1 second. That's something to keep in mind. Also, you can combo E with W to make the center of the W a bit easier to hit. If you didn't know, the W center will make sure you hit true damage, and if you don't hit him in the center, it will just do physical damage. You can see right there the number changes. If you don't know what this means, true damage means it bypasses armor, and physical damage gets reduced by the armor that they have. Also, the R is like a body slam, which does damage on its own to a target like this. Like as you can see right there, it did 206 damage. But it also does damage to whoever you're body slamming them into. So let's say I hit him on this dummy. Both dummies just took 206 damage. Another thing you can do on Sett is you can like insect them, is what people call it, which is kind of like getting the enemy towards your own team, which you can like, let's say this is the enemy, this is my team, you could like flash behind them, R them back, and now this guy is in pretty much a 1v4, which is pretty commonly used in the game. And just to show off again one more time how the W works, as you can see when I take damage from this turret, it will convert into grit, and then when I press W, it will give me a shield and do damage in a cone. So ideally you want to get as much grit as possible before pressing W to get the max value from the ability. Would recommend playing this champ. He's really strong and not that hard to play. I mean, he's literally strong. Look at him. On the 4th spot, I put Mordekaiser, which is also a really easy champion to play. The nice part about Mordekaiser is that he's an ability power champion. Sometimes he'll be put top and your entire team picks AD and then you're like, okay, but what do I play now? I'm top lane. And there aren't that many good like AP top laners out there, but Mordekaiser is a really good top laner and also probably one of the easiest ones that is AP. Here's a build you can use for Mordekaiser pretty much every single game, and here's a room page. Mordekaiser is pretty simple. Basically what you're doing is you're just obliterating them. I mean literally the Q is called obliterate. It is when you slam down your big mace in like a little cone in front of you. It will do more damage if you only hit one target, but even if you hit multiple targets, it will still do a pretty decent amount. This champ has pretty good wave clear because of the Q. The Q is on a low cooldown. But like I said, try and hit the enemies when they're isolated so you don't hit any more than one target, so you do as much damage as possible. The W is also really nice. It's kind of like the set W, but not really. You actually get like a similar type thing with set where you get like a little passive bar when you either do damage or take damage, but it's mostly based on the damage you dealt, not as much of the damage you take. And then when you press it, it will turn into a shield, and even if you don't get much use of the shield, you can press it again to regain some health back. It will be a percentage of the shield that you have left. The E is kind of like set again. You just pull people in pretty much. You just send a little claw forward and it's like pulls people towards you. Really nicely comboed with the Q. You just E into a Q. The E passive is magic penetration, which is also nice because that just means you're automatically already penetrating their magic resist if they are building it versus you. And the passive and ult is what makes Mordekaiser so like easy and strong to play. The passive is very simple. You just hit the enemy 3 times with either a basic auto attack or an ability, and you will just get a big AoE circle around you that just like burns the enemy for like a percentage of their max health and just like magic damage. So even if you suck and you miss E, you miss Q, as long as you get your 3 auto attacks off, you will still do a huge amount of damage. Also Mordekaiser has increased damage with his auto attacks, so that's why he's really strong in the 1v1. And the ult is kind of where he gets OP. If you don't know what Mordekaiser ult does, it kind of puts you in like a separate realm with the target that you ulted, and then you are pretty much like 1v1ing him for 7 seconds. You will also steal 10% of their core stats while you do this. So it is really hard to like lose a 1v1 in this, because you are just stealing their stats while already having them isolated for your Q, and they literally cannot run anywhere. They're stuck there in there with you. If you do kill a target in your ult, you will keep those stats that you stole until the enemy has respawned. But this ability is really cool. They also made it so you can now no longer QSS this ability, which means you could buy an item and get out of it. You can no longer do this. So there's almost no counterplay to doing this apart from just running when you're in there and trying to like avoid them, which is really tough to do. Because there's also an item that you build on Mordekaiser which will slow the enemy, which means it's really hard to outplay a Mordekaiser in his own ult. It is almost impossible. This ability is really strong for your lane, you can just 1v1 the laner, but it's also really good in the late game when there's like a particular carry that's really strong or carrying the game, and you just like completely zone that guy from everyone else on the team by just ulting him, and then you just 1v1 him. Even if you do not kill him, just completely removing him from the map for 7 seconds can already be enough to like win a team fight. Yeah, pretty simple, easy champ to play, definitely up there in the top 5. On the 3rd spot I put Malphite. If you ever wanted to throw rocks at people in the game, I mean this champ is literally a rock and that's all you do with this champ, you just rock people repeatedly in the face. This champ is really fun and also just really good. I'll give you 2 builds for this one because you can play him full AP where he's kind of like a carry, and a full tank build, so I'll give you 2 builds and 2 room pages. I personally like playing him AP because it's a bit more fun, but even as full tank you still have the capability to kill carries, so don't worry, you can build him as a brainless full tank actual rock. Malphite is really simple. The game plan is pretty much you Q people until they're low enough to ult and then you just kind of kill them. The ult is a like large unstoppable dash forward that ends up in a huge knock-up. If you're playing AP, you can one-shot someone with this. If you're playing full tank, your goal is to probably just knock off a carry or as many people as possible so your team can finish them off. Malphite is really good into heavy AD comps because he has a lot of armor in his kit. His W will give him like an increased percentage of armor. And his abilities, his W and his E will also scale with the armor, so you will do more damage based on the armor you have, which is why he's so strong even when you build him full tank. His passive is a little shield after you've not taken damage, which is pretty nice in the laning phase. And honestly, there isn't really that much to say about this champ. He's just really strong. You can surprisingly 1v1 a lot of people, even when you're full tank. If you're playing AP, you are literally just pressing Q until they're low enough to ult, and then you kill them. His E also reduces people's attack speed, which is really big. Like a 30% attack speed debuff is massive when you're playing in a champion that actually wants to auto attack. Besides that, there isn't really much to say about this champion. Your W you can use as an auto attack reset, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The champ is just really easy, really strong, playable as like an AP carry, playable as a full tank. You can also do like a mix where you do like one AP item, which is Malignance, or ult reduction into full tank. Really easy champion though, very fun to play, depending on your definition of fun, and just really good in the current meta. And like I said, very solid pick into teams that have a lot of AD or like physical damage. I mean, he's literally a rock. How do you beat a rock? You don't. On the number 2 spot is Darius. Darius is really strong. I would almost put him in the number 1 spot, but the number 1 spot is a bit easier to play than Darius. But Darius is a really good champion. This champion just is extremely strong in the 1v1, super strong early games, skills well into the mid game, pretty decent late game as well. This guy is just like a demon. You can 1v9 with this champion, you can win your lane with this champion, you can split push with this champion, you can pretty much do anything with Darius, to be honest. For starters, this is the build you can pretty much use every single game on Darius. He's pretty flexible overall though, with like defensive items. The nice part about Darius is that he has so much base damage that you don't really need to go full damage. You can build a lot of defensive and bruiser / tank items to be almost unkillable. For the summoners, you're pretty much just running Flash Ghost. Ghost is pretty much essential on Darius because you are just running it down on the champ. You're just running at your opponent and just like killing them. You're just winning pretty much. That's your whole game plan. You run in, you win. It sounds crazy, but that's how it is. That's how you play Darius. This is a room page you can use pretty much every single game. So if you don't know how Darius works, he is pretty simple, but there is some like key things that you have to like know when you do play him. His whole kit is based around his passive. His passive is that when you auto attack someone, they will start bleeding, and this will stack up multiple times, up to a total of 5 stacks, which makes Darius so extremely strong in the 1v1, because once you get 5 auto attacks off, you just have the bleed like maxed, and you'll just be doing so much damage. Also, your ult will do more damage based on how many stacks you have. I mean, this champion is just, you would think I'm like joking with this kit, but Darius is also like the level 1 like demon. You sometimes before the main even spawn, when you can get into a 1v1, you just straight up win level 1 by auto attacking the other dude to death, because it is really hard to out damage Darius auto attacking you and his passive bleed. You just almost beat pretty much everyone 1v1. You get a crazy power spike when you hit level 6, which is an execute, or not an execute, but it will do a ton of true damage, and like I said, increased based on the amount of stacks you have. So ideally you want to get 5 stacks and then you press ult. Most champions will not survive 5 stacks and a Darius ult. Every squishy champion in the game will die to this, and when you do get a kill with this, you actually get a reset on it. So he is also a team fighting demon. When you kill someone with your ult on Darius, or you apply 5 stacks, you get like a little passive, which will make it so whenever you auto attack the next target, will instantly get 5 bleed stacks, which is why he's so good when he gets the first reset in like a team fight, because you can kill one, auto attack someone, and then ult them. I'll show you a clip right now of me straight up W into R, like one shot someone. This is just how Darius pretty much plays. One thing about the W is that it actually resets your auto attack, and this is kind of important if you want to play Darius optimally. So what do I mean with that? You can auto, press W, and it will just make sure you auto again instantly. So you don't just want to walk up to the target and W, you want to do this instead. Let me reset my cooldowns real quick. You want to auto W, and you see how there's 2 really fast auto attacks there? That's pretty much what you want to do all the time, to get 2 fast stacks with the bleed instead of just 1. Also Q, you want to be hitting them on the outer edge of the Q because it will do more damage, not the inside. What do I mean with that? You can see the circle there. You want to hit them in that line and not like the inner one because it will just do less. So a full Darius combo will pretty much look like this. You just run at your target, you E them in, auto W, Q, one more auto, ult. And that is pretty much the max damage you can do. You can also use your Strike Breaker in the middle there to make sure they don't run away. That's most champs will be dead to this when you're level 6. And like I said earlier, when you do get the max stacks on someone, or when you do get your ult kill on someone, your ult will reset, you'll get a little boost. So you can just auto attack one person for max stacks into like another instant ult for max damage. So overall, Darius is really strong, fairly easy to play, pretty decent in the current meta. I would really recommend trying out this champion because he feels really strong and is just pretty simple. And I swear you will play this champ and you'll be like, damn, this damage does not even feel balanced. On the first spot is Garen. Garen is probably one of the easiest champions in League of Legends, but he's actually really good. A lot of people will say that Garen is legit like a noob champ, but he's actually played a decent amount in high elo. Because he is so strong, you would think, wow, this champ, how can this guy be good in high elo? But he actually really is. Like the other ones, here's a build, you can pretty much hard force every single game. I will do 2 room pages here though, one is Phase Rush and one is Conqueror. Conqueror is a bit more decent overall, but Phase Rush is more like a drive-by type thing where you hit him a couple times, you get a big move speed boost, and then you just kind of get out of there. You can play him with TP, but I would just play him with Flash Ignite to have a little bit more kill pressure. So about the build's actually really fun, because people build him crit and attack speed, which makes him spin really fast, and the spin can crit. Also mixed with a Strike Breaker in there, which you can use to like keep people on you, so you can just spin him to death. You can actually like kill a squishy with just your spin ability late game when you have like IE and Phantom Dancer. But anyway, Garen's kit is pretty simple again. Probably the most easy to play champion out of the entire list. I would say Darius is a bit easier to carry with because he can just reset and kill multiple people. But Garen on its own is really strong in getting like 1 kill and just having a pressure on the map. He's a really good split pusher. Garen's passive is that you have a little bit of max health regen when you have not been damaged for like the last 8 seconds. Which is really nice in the laning phase. If you take like a bad trade, you can kind of sit back and regen a little bit. This Q will give you a move speed buff for 1 second while powering your next auto attack, which will silence them and do bonus damage. You can also use this again as an auto attack reset. So Garen's W passive is that when you kill a unit, you get some armor and MR up to like 30 max, I believe, and then you get like a little bonus when you do reach the max. So just base Garen is really tanky. This is why this guy is so hard to kill and to like 1v1, because he just has a lot of base defense stats. On top of that, you can also press the W and it will give you reduced incoming damage by 30% for 4 seconds, a shield, and 60% tenacity for the very like early beginning of the duration. So which means you want to press this usually right before you're gonna take a huge amount of damage or before you get stunned. Like yeah, all that is in one ability, by the way. Yeah, you would think I'm joking, but it is. The E is the spinning ability, which is kind of what makes Garen fun. This will be most of your damage, especially if you're playing the crit build. You'll just be spinning on them, dealing damage. The more attack speed you have, the more spins you will do, and this can also crit, which is why the crit build is so good on Garen right now. When you hit a champion 6 times with a spin, they will have reduced armor by 25%, which also makes it easier for you to like kill the tanks. And then to finish it off, Garen has a true damage based on missing health, like execute. So the more health they're missing, the more damage you would do, and it's true damage. I don't know, his kit is so simple. You literally just Q forward, hit them, silence them, spin on them, execute them. There really isn't much more to it. That's all you do, but it's so strong. Trust me, it's really strong. Even without building defensive items, this champ is just inherently pretty tanky. Your damage output is kind of insane. And he's also just a really good split pusher because you go into Berserker Squeeze for the extra attack speed for the E increase. But also you will be hitting the turrets so fast, you can Q the turrets, so you'll be like a split pushing demon. You're also really tanky, and if they do actually eventually send one person for you, you can kind of just kill that guy. If they send multiple people for you, then your team has an advantage otherwhere on the map because they're all going for you. And this is also kind of where the phase rush comes in handy that I mentioned earlier. The phase rush can get you out of tricky spots. If they do end up sending multiple people for you and you can't kill all of them, you could kill one, get the phase rush move speed boost, and then just kind of run away, especially with your Q move speed as well. Also, I forgot to mention that the Q actually removes slows, which is pretty good for getting away or getting on top of someone in game. Not, yeah. Again, there isn't much to say about this champ because he's so easy and so simple to play. You just Q at them, you spin on them, you ult execute them, and that's pretty much, yeah, that's Garen for you. Alright, thank you for watching, guys. That's pretty much all for this video. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it did take me quite a bit of effort to make this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.